He's the guy who used to have a dog. Remember, he used to bring his dog with him after hours, and he and his dog were like inseparable. I think his dog has passed away now.
Checkity check. Good morning, 8 people. 7. Bye. Swimming to the other side. Have you heard this, sung this? Does this look familiar by the title of it? Okay. This is the first time the word to Rebecca, it's familiar. All right. So if you look in your printed, the insert in your printed order of service, this is what I'm referring to. This teaching time, which is now. Now is teaching time. There's no guarantee that you will learn something, but there's guarantee that I am teaching something. Swimming to the Other Side is a song that has been sung here before, but not in the... Can you hear me okay? Is my mic live here? You're nodding. It feels quiet. Robert, am I live here? Yeah? Okay. Cool. I mean, you can all hear me, but it's just because there's only like 7 of us in the room. Let me sing a little of this for you, and it might twig your memory, or it might be completely brand new. We are living neath a great big dipper. We are washed by the very same rain. We are swimming in this stream together, some in power and some in pain. We can worship this ground we walk on, cherishing the beings that we live beside. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. And that's basically the melody for the whole song. There are 3 verses. That's the chorus that I just sang. But the melody and the rhythms are very, very similar from chorus to verse to chorus to verse to chorus to verse. So we're going to start at the very end, because at the very least, then we'll end up together in the same place. So have a listen. I'm going to sing this for you 2 times, and then I invite you to sing it with me 2 times. So listen, sing. We're all swimming to the other side. Listen to that again. We're all swimming to the other side. Try that with me. Here we go. We're all swimming to the other side. One more time. We're all swimming to the other side. We're going to do it one more time. I'll actually accompany you on the piano. 1, 2, here we go. We're all swimming to the other side. And it's got that kind of hip swinging sort of lilt. It feels a little, Carole King, James Taylor, even though I don't think that it was written that long ago. Okay.
Emma's Revolution. This is a gift to all of us.
Beautiful. Emma's Revolution. This is true. All right. I'm going to tag the previous line of the chorus on to that one. Have a listen. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. Listen one more time. Loving spirits will live together. No, we sing together later. Sorry, that was my fault. Forever. Loving spirits will live forever. I'll do it right. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. Want to try that? Great. Here we go. Loving spirits will live other side. One more time. Loving. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. I'm going to back it up one line before that. Have a listen. Cherishing the beings that we live beside. Listen two more times. Cherishing the beings that we live beside. Listen last time. Cherishing the beings that we live beside. Sing that with me. Here we go. Cherishing the beings that we live beside. So that's all the beings that are beside you right now. We're going to cherish them. Can you sing it again? Cherishing the beings that we live beside. One more time on that, and we're going to actually go from there to the end of the chorus. Cherishing, to eat, cherishing the beings that we live beside. All right, I'm going to back it up one more line. So I'm going to sing for you 3 times. We can worship this ground we walk on. And you're going to notice similarities from line to line. This rhythm and melody kind of recycles. Have a listen. And worship this ground we walk on. Here we go again. We can worship this ground we walk on. Listen one more time. We can worship this ground we walk on. Love it. We're going to sing it twice now. And the second time, we're going to go through to the end of the chorus. And we basically learned all of the material of this song. Listen, what did I say? We're going to listen. You're not allowed to sing. Why don't you sing it with me 2 times here? I think that's what I said. Here we go. Breathe. We can worship this ground we walk on. Love it. We're going to sing that. We can worship all the way to the end of the chorus. 2, breathe. We can worship this ground we walk on, cherishing the beings that we live beside. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. Now we're going to try it from the very top of the chorus, even though we haven't looked at that at all. I'm confident that you'll be able to make something of this. 1, 2, 3. We are living neath the great big dipper. We are washed by the very same rain. We are swimming in the stream together, some in power and some in pain. We can worship this ground we walk on, cherishing the beings that we live beside. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. Cool. So now we're gonna look at the verses. The rhythms are gonna be a little bit different. They even catch me by surprise a little bit. But the point of this is not perfection. In fact, one of the lines we sing is, imperfection, may it be my crime. And I think I even said those lyrics incorrectly. Imperfection, it be my crime. So let's be imperfect. This is really so much more, singing generally is about heart connecting to these words and what it means to you as an individual than it is about getting it right. So here, let's get it wrong. This is the verse. I am alone and I am searching. If you sing something different from me, it's because you're better at this than I am. I'm alone and I am searching, hungering for answers in my time. I am on the brink of wisdom. I'm impatient to receive a sign. I move forward with my senses open. Imperfection, it be my crime. In humility, I will listen. We're all swimming to the other side. Let's try verse 2. So this is on this journey. On this journey through thoughts and feelings, fighting intuition, my head, my heart. I am gathering the tools together. I'm preparing to do my part. All of those who have come before me, learn together and be my guide. Loving lessons that I will follow. We're all swimming to the other side. And then we go back to the chorus. We are living neath the great big dipper. We are washed by the very same rain. We are swimming in the stream together, some in power and some in pain. We can worship this ground we walk on, cherishing the beings that we live beside. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. Now, one thing that's not going to, this is the closing song today. And one thing that is not on the slide, Gavin, why didn't you put it on the slide? I just didn't. Okay, I'm sorry. We're going to tag the very last line. And so that loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. The very last time we sing that again. Loving spirits. Here we are. Let's sing Loving Spirits Will Live Forever. We're all swimming to the other side 2 times. And then I'm waiting for a nod from Margaret to actually start the service here. Loving Spirits, 2, 3. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. And here we go again. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. Yeah. Cool. We're going to start that from the very top in just a second when we're ready to have the worship team enter. Thank you for singing along with me.
Thank you.
AV team, are we ready to start? Robert, Mitch, are we ready to start? Yeah. Brandis, have you got the team there? Oh, I know, I can see that. I see her chatting and hugging in the back there. Margaret, please report to the vestibule. Margaret, to the vestibule. We're going in anyway. Let's sing. Why don't you stand and sing briefly as we process the worship team in? Let's stand up. The great big dipper, we are Thanks, y'all. Have a seat.
Welcome to the Calgary Unitarians. We acknowledge that we live on Treaty 7 territory, a traditional gathering place for diverse Indigenous peoples, including the Blackfoot Confederacy, Tsuut'ina Nation, Stoney Nakoda Nations, and the Métis Nations of Alberta, Districts 5 and 6, which are Calgary Nose Hill and Calgary Elbow, respectively. All their histories, languages, and cultures continue to influence our community. My name is Margaret McCrae, and my pronouns are she and her, and I'm a member of COSM, and I'm one of the service leaders today. I will speak as well as Brandis Purcell, Michael Labolas, Rebecca Mobley-Kasner, and Peter Campbell. I became a Unitarian over 20 years ago. When I was growing up, our family had no association of to any religion of any kind. I used to envy girls who were getting confirmed, even though I didn't know what that meant, except they got a fancy dress. The few times I did go to church, I had trouble with the idea of a Holy Trinity. The idea of a virgin birth was ludicrous. I took communion once after being urged on by an aunt I was visiting, and I remember feeling very uncomfortable, especially as I was told later I should not have gone for communion because I hadn't been baptized. I wasn't sure what that meant either. After I was married in a United Church, I learned about Unitarianism because my husband's parents were very active Unitarians in Toronto First Church and the Dawn Heights congregation. I enjoyed the occasional service, especially as there was none of the usual things that I had heard in the past. It wasn't until much later that I sought out this community because I needed some spirituality in my life. I was welcomed into this wonderful community, this free church. This is a free church. Whether you are a theist or humanist, Christian, pagan, or nature mystic, whether you are gay, straight, transgender, or bisexual, whether you are disabled or temporarily abled, whether you are young, old, or in between. We are so glad you are here today. You make our circle complete.
We light this chalice to honor the work of this congregation, both together and individuals. We light this chalice to celebrate our community and to bring hope and determination to our mission in the wider world.
Our opening song this morning is indeed a dance. I'm not sure if it's a tango or a rumba or a bossa nova. It's not a bossa nova. If you like to follow along with the actual music notes, this is in the gray hymnal in your seat pockets, number 311. This is Let It Be a Dance. Please rise in body and spirit and join your voices with mine as we dance together.
Calgary Steeler, also known as the Storyteller. And a very long time ago, a very far away, but it might have been just yesterday, the world was recovering from some really bad times. And some really bad times were still going on. But three frazzled soldiers, hungry and weary from the wars, were trying to return to their homes. They had walked for 3 days and hadn't eaten for a very long time. When they saw it below them, a little village shining so brightly, they were sure it would welcome them. As they came closer, though, the people there already seemed to know they were coming. They had suffered a lot, and they kept their doors very tightly shut. They kept their food hidden, and they kept to themselves. So the soldiers didn't know what to do. They tried to knock on the doors, but people just didn't have nothing to do with them. And finally, they went to the town square there, and they saw piles of rocks, and they thought, one of them stood up, very tall, a very loud voice. Said, well, it's sure too bad that we don't have a big cooking pot here because, I'm a chef and I was hoping to teach people a new recipe of mine. But I guess there's just no big pot anywhere. And as he kept talking, some children came out. They were dragging this gigantic pot and they put it on top of the rocks. And then somebody else came out and started a fire underneath. And the three soldiers, one of them said, well, if only had some water, we have to start with water, of course, clean, good water. And then somebody came out with some jugs and they were pouring it into this big pot. Okay, the soldier said, everybody stand back. Here's how the recipe goes. And he took out of his pocket some beautiful, beautiful stones. You'd never seen anything like it. Some of them glistened with different colors. The people were mystified. Stones? Oh, yes, he said. Stone soup. You put one in at a time. And then he said, no, it would be a little bit better if we had a little flavor coming out of there, but I don't know. I know nobody has anything. So this is the basics though, right? Somebody went and brought in some parsley and there were all kinds of things floating into that great big pot. And then they said, well, of course we have to stir it and stir it. The fire was glowing. People were peeping out from behind their doors and maybe, gently pulling a carrot out of here and a potato out of there, thinking, well, he's got a recipe, and came forward and put it in. And then somebody else brought a onion, of course. And then just dropped that in. Somebody brought a rutabagas are excellent. The soldiers were happy. And how about a
Potato.
Another, you can't have too many potatoes. And celery, faster and faster. Pardon me, ma'am? Cabbage. You cannot have soup without cabbage. Now, it was getting roiling away and this aroma was floating right over the village. Soon you could see a line of people coming with chairs and tables and setting them all up. Oh, said the baker, I don't think we could have this feast without some of my new bread. And off he went to bring the gigantic loaves of bread. The people were spreading out and dishing out the soup. And they could not believe this amazing new recipe from the soldier's stone soup. Who knew it would be so good? Well, said the soldiers as the night was coming on,
I know that you're all not doing very well, and it is hard times. Maybe somebody has a little loft or a corner somewhere we could put our head tonight. No, 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 no. You are chefs. You cannot sleep in a loft. Well, that very night, the soldiers slept. One slept in the priest's house, always the best one, you know. One slept in the baker's house. And you know what? The chef himself slept in the mayor's house that night, and they had a very good sleep. The next morning, they were so refreshed. And imagine that. They went out. They had discovered a new recipe, and they were going to spread it from village to village wherever they went. Oh, this was a very long time ago. This was very far away. But it might have been right here, and it might have been yesterday.
Hello, I'm Michael Laboldus. My pronouns are he and him. And I just got new glasses and realized they don't work for lecterns and microphones, so I don't have a glass. So, I'd like everyone to pause for a moment and think to themselves, what is COSM? So by a show of hands in this room, who knows what COSM is and what it stands for? Exactly. So for the rest of you, I'm not going to embarrass you by having you raise your hands, but I was in your situation for many, many years while I was in this church. So today we're going to try and help you with this. For the longest time, I had no idea what the letters stood for. So we'll cover that first. So the letters COSM, C-O-S-M, they stand for, of course, committee, because Unitarians love committees, okay? And on shared ministry. So for many of you, that still doesn't help you figure out what COSM means. So let me tell you what it used to be called, and I'll give you a little bit of background. It used to be called the Committee on Ministry. So the members of this committee would work alongside the minister to ensure things were going well, how the minister was doing, how they were feeling, how they were dealing with the congregation, et cetera, et cetera. But this is Unitarianism, and that was very minister specific. And in Unitarianism, we're all involved in ministry. It's not like the big religions that Margaret mentioned earlier, where there's a guy in a white suit that tells everybody what they're doing. We all have a shared responsibility. We try to bring our best selves into this space and hope that we all respect and support our fellow congregants and that we all grow together. So we changed the name to the Committee on Shared Ministry. All across UU congregations, across the lands, this team helps to maintain the congregational health and vitality. It is part of the governance and the well-being circle, forming part of the foundation of our shared work. So basically, COSM's work is threefold. It provides a sounding board, offering critique, affirmation, questions, and guidance to the minister. So that's the first part. 2, it assesses the work of the minister every 3 to 5 years, as per the letter of agreement and the contractual stuff. And on the other years, it assesses the work of the congregation. This is one of those other years. And it works to ensure a healthy communication across the congregation, providing a place for people to bring their comments, their celebrations, their concerns, as well as stepping in to assist with mediation and support wherever that's necessary. So community doesn't just magically appear. It needs to be nurtured and supported to grow and mature. And each one of you and the Committee on Shared Ministry share this responsibility. So there's going to be some people speaking on different aspects of our committee today. But first, we're going to collect an offering. And the offering that we collect each Sunday isn't just a stale habit. It's an opportunity to recommit to this place and these people. Our offering is an affirmation. It's a yes. When we give, we say yes to something we value. With our gifts freely given, may we say yes to the values of our faith. Each month, we also have another organization that we collect money for. And this month, it's called For Others. This month, our For Others recipient is the Calgary Interfaith Council, of which we are a member. The Calgary Interfaith Council seeks to build a more just and respectful Calgary through deepening our relationships between our religions, celebrating diversity, and learning from and about each other. If this is where you'd like to direct your offering, please indicate For Others on the envelope in the seat pocket in front of you. First-time visitors, you get a free pass. Please let the basket pass you by. Your presence is a gift to us all. After the basket has passed you by, if you wish, please come to the front and light a candle in either one of our sconces here, or drop a petal in our communal water in honor of a joy or concern that you're carrying in your heart. The gifts of the congregation will now be gratefully received.
Thank you, Gavin. That was lovely. I'm Splendid Purcell, and I am a part of COSM, a member of this great committee, and it's a wonderful committee to work for, or with, I should say. So if your name gets called sometime, consider it. They're great. So Calgary Unitarians is a community of people who come together to and meaning in our spiritual lives. Our community is supported by many groups and committees, as Michael mentioned before, all of which have their responsibility for some part of making Calgary Unitarians a vital and vibrant place to be. One of these committees is the Committee on Shared Leadership, or COSM. COSM's mandate, its support mandate, is threefold, and Michael's threefold and my threefold are different, but they do mesh together. One, we support our minister. The COSM committee meetings are a place where the minister comes to just share whatever she is on her heart, and to be supported by COSM, by all the members of COSM. We also support and encourage each other, each congregant, and to provide encouragement and support to their fellow congregants. And we support the efforts of Calgary Unitarians when we take our faith out into the wider world. Celebrating what has been a year of change and growth for us, 2024 to 25 included the installation of our minister, the Reverend Samaya Oakley. Reverend Samaya has brought us the voice of reason, compassion, and mostly a message of love. Her sermons have touched us deeply, made us think, and sometimes prickled our conscience. It can be a challenge to minister to a congregation, but luckily, Reverend Samaya has the support of her peers, and in our congregation, the support of COSM. COSM supports our minister by providing her a safe place to confidentially express both concerns and joys, as well as discuss and gather feedback about ideas and feelings. COSM tries to keep alert to potential issues in our community and will always provide a safe place for congregants to bring those issues, whatever they may be. We recognize that individually and as a community, we are responsible for our intentions, communications, and actions. We work to develop and promote skills and practices that strengthen our relationships and guide our behaviors. Reciprocal support of each other might seem an easy thing to do, and most of the time it is. From time to time, though, differences in outlook and opinion may get in the way of our support and care for one another. When this happens, fortunately, we have tools that have been developed by Calgary Unitarians for use in helping us to understand and accept one another through these sometimes difficult passages through interpersonal waters. These tools are the covenant of right relations, which reminds us to respect one another, to communicate directly and honestly, to participate with trust and commitment, and to express encouragement and appreciation to each other. In the hopefully rare occasions when the covenant of right relation fails to bring resolution, we have a conflict management process and a disruptive behavior policy. It is worth going on to the website to have a look at these processes. Although COSM is not directly responsible for our activities in the wider community in Calgary, we do offer support and encouragement to those of our members, including our minister, who participate in such things as the Interfaith Council, Citywide Pride, Calgary Alliance for the Common Good, Indigenous Reconciliation, Refugee Sponsorship, and Climate and Environmental Justice, just to name a few. COSM would like to thank finally, each of you, for all you do to help create vibrant, engaging, and transformative worship in our congregations. You are helping to keep our living traditions alive and well.
As a beloved community, excuse me, we are part of an interdependent web of existence. What touches the lives of one of us affects us all. We share our joys, sorrows, concerns, and milestones. We strengthen our relationships and widen our caring ministry within this congregation and beyond. We light our first candle of joy for Brett Willisco. He's very proud to say that he is 1,000 days alcohol and drug free. We also recognize many moments of joy in our lives, meeting a new baby, reconnecting with an old friend, meeting a new love, feeling the sun on our face, and looking up at our big blue Calgary sky. And for these joys and others we hold in our heart, we light this candle. We recognize too that many of us have sorrows in our lives, the loss of a dear one, worries about finance, the loss of someone from our congregation, and sometimes the inability to move forward in our lives. For these concerns and others we hold in our hearts, we light this candle. And finally, we light a global candle for the people in North America, Canadians, Americans, and Mexicans that are adversely affected by the political upheaval in the United States. We also light a candle for all the people in countries affected by war and famine. May all that has been shared here strengthen and renew the bonds of this beloved community.
Hello, all. I'm Rebecca Mobley Kasner. It's like very in my face. Sorry. Okay. I'm Rebecca. I did a thing a few years ago that I've been thinking about for years. Dean and I sold our condo and bought a house with the intention of our young adult to move with us. Not as a dependent, not as our kid, but as a roommate, as a fellow adult. The picture I painted was strong with detail. And of course, reality carries its own detail. I'm sure we've all seen that. So there I am, unpacking my internal motivations and practical boundaries. Because in concept, I wanted to move away from the top-down shoulding that comes with parenting. She should this and she should that. I wanted to move into a space of mutual benefit and coexisting. And how does one do that? How does one move into a realm of adult on adult relationship, on interaction? How do you resolve conflict? As a UU for a majority of my adult life, and having raised my kid in this very church, I know that in a time of conflict, we don't have a singular dogma or belief structure to refer back to. There's no book telling me that as her mom, I'm right. But without the right and wrongs, rather, we have to rely on countless UU thinkers and philosophers reminding us that we're a covenantal faith. In an article about what brings us together, if not a shared deity, the UUA authors, Natalie Briscoe, Kathy McGowan, Nancy Combs Morgan, describe covenant not as a rule book, but as a list, not as a rule book or a list pinned to the walls of thou shalts, but rather as a way of working in beloved community together, how we treat each other, and understanding between people. They describe a living practice of connection, a faint pulse calling us to be better in our worst moments. This is what I was trying to do in my house. This is what I'm trying to do in my life with all of my favorite adults who I cannot control. This is what I'm doing in my day-to-day, and this is what I'm doing here with all of you. Those UU authors continue to describe the act of building and nurturing covenant as the way in which we practice our religion together, aspirationally, how we want to be in the world. Our covenant is also a way of norming the culture of our congregations toward love, inclusivity, and kindness. Things I could definitely use in my house as well. Holding covenant as both something I do in daily interpersonal interaction, as well as a spiritual practice, shows how intertwined human connection is to centering our best selves. Covenant then can be imagined to hold us and hold our interactions. Covenant has structure. When I was a youth advisor, I was introduced to the curriculum series Tapestry of Faith. And one of the many, many excellent courses, Faith Like a River, I was introduced to the idea of the structure of covenant. Our foundation of our covenant is our shared values. The walls are the definition of our boundaries. It lays out how we can behave, our actions, our responsibility, like defined in our communities. The roof is a sense of safety. It provides a form of protection. And that structure of covenant should hold. It shouldn't trap. Our covenantal faith, our church, our relationships must have the means for those to come and go as they need to. Our covenant has doors. This is a structure that we build over and over with each other intentionally in a number of situations. I think of wedding vows as an easy one, right? And specifically in this community, we have a right relationships covenant. That covenant is organized in 4 parts. We'll read the whole thing in a minute, but it's organized in 4 parts. And we covenant to show each other respect, communicate directly and honestly, participate with trust and commitment, and express encouragement and appreciation. So I ask myself, and I ask you, does this covenant align to my personal values? Do these principles help contain me, help shelter me? Does anyone need a door? All valid questions. So as I mentioned, we are a covenantal people. What are we covenanting? As Calgary Unitarians, our right relationships covenant, slide 1 is going to pop up on the screen. And so just about me, I'm terrible with left and right. So for today, we're going to focus on piano side of the room and projector side. So I will read the bold text, and for slide 1, I invite piano side to read the non-bold text back. Show each other respect.
With open minds and hearts, we actively listen to each other. We show flexibility toward different opinions and thought. We use honest, courteous, non-hurtful language. We speak with compassion and acceptance, treating each other kind. We recognize that each voice is worthy of being heard among a unique life experience. We acknowledge and respect the responsibilities and commitments undertaken by members of our community. Okay, projector side. Communicate directly and honestly.
speaking common language, taking time to examine our own intentions, avoid generalization and unsolicited advice. We understand that sometimes our words and actions have not intended. For relationships with others. We invest in concerns directly, promptly, and personally, and have that promotes mutual respect. We speak to each other, not about each other. We choose the right time and place to communicate our differences. We utilize existing systems for conflict resolution and educate ourselves on these processes.
Back to piano side. Participate with trust and commitment.
We focus on the most respectful interpretation of others' actions, assuming best intentions, and trusting you're each doing our best. We choose to stay connected and engage through difficult moments, and intentionally negotiate compromise and collaboration. We strive to make realistic commitments, accept or decline tasks and responsibilities thoughtfully, ask for help if needed, and offer help when possible. We accept mutual responsibility for expressing and honoring personal boundaries. We admit our mistakes and failures. We practice forgiveness of ourselves and others, and we try with them.
And finally, projector side. Express encouragement and appreciation.
We acknowledge that everyone has strengths and weaknesses, and so we intentionally look for opportunities to honor each other, praise and thanks, greatness and support. We recognize the value of feedback, they offer positive constructive alternatives. We acknowledge that and embrace our diversity, knowing that differences and conflict do not include, in fact, and foster deeper connections through mutual care and appreciation. We make room for creativity, comfort, camaraderie, and joy as we act for the common good of our community.
When the road seems no lonely place, I see what where hearts in a holy place. When the tales going from to inside, and we listen from the roaring land, and we hear voices and joys. There are hearts in a holy place, where our heart is in a holy place, where our heart is in a holy place. We are blessed with love and amazing grace, where our heart is in a holy place. When we share the silence of sacred space, and the lights raise within, and we feel the power of each other's faith.
morning, everyone. My name's Peter. I use he, they pronouns. So good to see everyone. In early 2022, our ministerial search committee ran Calgary Unitarians' last congregational assessment. In more typical times, it is us on COSM that typically takes on this charge. It is our responsibility to check in with you, our community. I believe all of you have the ideas, talents, and skills needed to sustain this spiritual project. And make no mistake, this is a project. Community takes work and effort. Our fifth principle asks that we look within ourselves to find that direction towards what's next. But what is maybe less talked about is what this same principle speaks to. How we should establish our priorities. And it is done by and through our collective consciences. What I would call our small inner voice is what guides our behavior and establishes our values. It is our sense of right and of wrong. And trust me, you don't need me to tell you that there's no shortage of opinions in our community, in any community. We use democratic principles, yes, though what also matters is how we arrive at those conversations, how we behave in our debate, and what we do when there is disagreement. If we are to grow and to thrive, I believe we must be honest with others and ourselves. While we may not always agree, we still need to live side by side, doing the work that keeps these walls alive. A spiritual assembly is not a thing, it is a verb. It is a process of discussion and compromise, equal parts beauty and hardship. While we may want to imagine this place for only its positives, we must also be honest about where we feel its shortcomings. Any human project will have these. I have these, and I push them away for the appearance of harm. And when we push them away for the appearance of harmony, it hurts our larger cause. This is a spiritual gym, and like a gym, we will do hard, repetitive work in order to build our muscles. In this case, our spiritual muscles. That skill building not only helps us in here, it helps us out in the wider world. I think it's all too easy to think of this as but one of many places, just another thing on our busy social calendar on a Sunday, when it can be so much more than that. This can be what improves and strengthens all of our other relationships. It can prepare us for the work of building the beloved community we affirm in our sixth principle. We ask tough questions because they refine us in our vision of hope. It sharpens our focus and individually teaches us the skill of compromise. Early last year, the board joined with us on COSM to jointly hold a formal conversation. We worked to decide if we should call Reverend Samaya as our settled minister. We will soon ask you again to join us in the murky depths of what's next. We want to plumb these depths and see what pops up. We do this not to stir up drama or to create friction points, but to discover what inflection points need further conversation. And that distinction is key. When we leave these nexus points unaddressed and undiscovered, they do not go away. They lie brewing underneath the surface. They come out in funny and unexpected ways in the form of impassioned frustration or gradual disinterest. We may slowly see ourselves disengage, and one day all of a sudden feel the community is now out of step with us. So, as an ounce of prevention, we ask that you join us in the conversation. At the end of the month, we'll ask you 4 questions. What is working well here? What are we accomplishing as a spiritual community? What could be better? And where could we develop as a congregation? In other words, what is our part in this? I invite you to dwell on these questions. I believe each of us has what it takes to make this place even better and brighter. In doing so, we are uncovering more of that flaming spark, that which sustains and enlivens us and makes us that proverbial city upon a hill, a city not built for our own individual gain, but instead as a way to enrich the many lives that are in some way touched by this community. My prayer is that each of you join me on that journey. As a first step, we'll hold a feedback session on the 23rd of February after the usual Sunday service. Keep an eye out in the weekly e-news for further details. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Peter. Our closing song is Swimming to the Other Side, which we spent some time singing before the service. Feel free to let your hips swing a little bit because the melody and rhythm of this piece does so, and it'll just make it easier to feel and to sing. Please rise in body and spirit, and let's swim to the other side.
Some in power and some in pain. We can worship this ground. cherishing the beings that we live beside. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. I am alone and I am searching, hungering for answers in my time. I am lost at the brink of wisdom. I'm impatient to receive a sign. I move forward with my senses open. Imperfection, it be my crime. In humility I will listen. We're all swimming to the other side. We are living neath the great big dipper. We are washed by the very same rain. We are swimming in the stream together, some in power and some in pain. We can worship this ground we walk on, cherishing the beings that we live beside. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. On this journey through thoughts and feelings, binding intuition, my head, my heart, I am gathering the tools together. I'm preparing to do my part. All of those who have come before me, gather together and be my guide. Loving lessons that I will follow. We're all swimming to the other side. We are living with the great big dipper. We are washed by the very same rain. We are swimming in the stream together, some in power and some in pain. We can worship this ground we walk on, cherishing the beings that we live beside. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. When we get there, we'll discover all of the gifts we've been given to share have been with us life's beginning, and we never noticed they were there. We can balance at the brink of wisdom, never recognizing that we've arrived. Loving spirits will live together. We're all swimming to the other side. We are living neath the great big dipper. We are washed by the very same rain. We are swimming in the stream together, some in power and some in pain. We can worship this ground we walk on, cherishing the beings that we live beside. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side.
Ministry is no longer an act provided only by those who are ordained or called to serve. Ministry happens whenever individuals embrace the belief that their good works, their volunteerism, and their acts can help serve the mission and vision of their congregation. Shared ministry requires a covenanted partnership. It acknowledges that ministry is always shared. We extinguish the chalice today to these words. And now we take our leave. Before we gather here again, may each of us bring happiness into another's life. May we be surprised by the gifts that surround us. May each of us be enlivened by constant curiosity. And may love guide us on our journey forward. Joy meet us at every turn, and hope be our daily practice. May gratitude companion us, compassion embolden us, and open-hearted courage be our unending choice. May peace challenge us, generosity empower us, and may we know in every day that we are enough just exactly as we are. And then not one of us is alone as we journey forward in fulfillment of the mission of the Calgary Unitarians, to grow in wisdom, welcome and deepen relationships, and act for a just and sustainable world. And now we'll extinguish our flame. Please take this flame into your heart and hold it close until we meet again. Now let's turn around and wave to the people on Zoom. Folks on Zoom are welcome to join in conversation after service. The link is in the chat.